Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to RISMedia's webinar on how to create mutually beneficial relationships with your broker. I'm Julie Toon Timms. I am an independent real estate broker on my 43rd year of helping people buy and sell real estate down in the Hilton Head Island area. And I'm also a master coach for Workman Success Systems, which is truly rewarding to be able to help all y'all be the best that you can be. I'm here today with some great friends, and hopefully this is going to be a lot of super information that will take you where you want to go. But before we begin, down in the chat box, I would love for you to write down what you came here to learn today. You saw the title of the presentation. So what did you come here to learn? So if everybody could just write what they came here to learn, we know what we want to say, but we want to make sure that we've got everybody's questions answered, if we certainly can do that. So if y'all will do that, we will be able to see those. All righty, so here we go. Well, let me introduce some folks that are here with me today. I want to introduce Charlotte Morris. Charlotte is our wonderful, illustrious sponsor with a really, really cool company called Kirbyo. And Charlotte, well, there you go. Charlotte, tell us about you and tell us about Kirbyo, okay?
Great.
We're all ears.
Absolutely. So thanks, everyone. My name is Charlotte Morris. I'm the lead account manager at Kirbyo on our brokerage partnerships team. I want to thank everyone for joining today, RISMedia for putting this on, Julie for moderating, and our fabulous panelists for contributing their thoughts. Love to tell you all a little bit more about Kirbyo. So if you flip to the next slide, Kirbyo is the home improvement company for realtors, and we're here to simplify the very disjointed process of the home improvement industry for both realtors and their clients. So the home improvement industry, especially when it comes to, the traditional sphere of home improvement, has always been kind of a nightmare. For real estate agents, home improvement has just been a part of your job, whether you like it or not. You're making recommendations for your clients on what their home needs in order to sell faster and for top dollar. So you're the one going out, picking out paint samples, coordinating with contractors, making sure there are no cost overruns, whatever it is, you're really handling it. So that's why Kirbyo was created. It's where Kirbyo comes in to save the day. We know that you need to get to closing quickly with certainty and peace of mind, and that's how we've designed our entire process. So we're trying to make home improvement projects accessible to everyone selling or buying a home. And what makes us different is that we're completely turnkey. We're an all-in-one solution. We'll take care of everything for you from start to finish. We're also tech-powered. We leverage technology at every possible moment to streamline the processes and get listings ready for move-in. We have a proprietary Kirbyo app that allows for 24/7 communication. And a fan favorite is our model of fix now, pay later. So on the sell side, clients never have to pay for anything until closing. So there's no credit checks, no interest, hidden fees. We don't take a % of the profit. It's not a loan. You can just think of us as your go-to contractor. And Kirbyo is really exclusively focused on home improvement projects for real estate transactions. So we only work with people represented by a licensed realtor. So we'll never work with homeowners or buyers on their own. While you're the experts of the market, we'll be the experts of the home improvement. So you can think of us as your go-to for all projects, whether that's pre-sale improvements, which we specialize in, so improving the existing footprint of the home, painting, floor finishing, landscaping, HVAC, whatever you might need, up to big floor plan changes, we can cover it. We'll work on the inspection side, so we'll quote those repairs, and then we'll actually make the repairs, and we work on the buy side. So in this market, buyers are purchasing homes as is, even though they know they need to make changes. So Kirbyo can come in as soon as the home is theirs, and we'll make the updates. And then
Awesome. Sorry if I
we are trying to move with urgency. So with Kirbyo, you'll get a free same-day estimate for the work. Well, once you finalize scope, we got a fixed, easy pricing proposal as little as a few days, and everything's included. So project management and our contractor network will take care of it all for you. So we'll do it all, and we hope to work on a project with you soon.
So that is really, really awesome, Charlotte. So really what Kirbyo does is it eliminates all the hassle of getting a house ready for sale or buyers, because you have all the contractors and you have all the pricing and you have everything, and all a seller or a buyer has to do, they have to work through a realtor, but they have to contact you, and then you don't have to be chasing the handyman and everything all over the place.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're hassle-free. We've got project managers who are Kirbyo employees. They're the ones on site. We have a network of contractors, and we have an entire catalog of materials. So whatever your home might need, there's kitchen renovations, bathrooms, we have vanities in our catalog, all of which are ready to ship.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds like a heaven to me, because I have to chase people who have a can't do list all the time. So that's really awesome. And thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. We're glad you're here, and thank you for sponsoring this great webinar today. Mr. G. Dunstan, how are you, my friend? My longtime friend.
Yes, indeedy. It's always good to be with you, Julie.
Well, it's good to be with
And
you.
Brook too.
Yeah, all of
Likewise.
us. So we're the Mutual Admiration Society. So G, tell us a little bit about you and your journey in real estate.
Well, I started in real estate a little over 4 decades. It's hard for me to even say that. And at that time I was 6'4", and now I'm 5'8". So that's what it has done to me over the years. My specialty for the most part has been selling vacation properties in Ocean City, Maryland, which is a part of the state of Maryland. And I am happy to be with a wonderful group of people at RE/MAX Advantage. I'm an associate broker, and I also am responsible for a lot of the training in our organization.
Fantastic. Well, you've got a long depth of training, because I think just a few decades ago, I took some continuing education through CRS from you and RRS from you.
Yes, you did.
Which
Yes,
is
you did.
always,
Yeah.
always wonderful, always great. And you're also a coach with Workman Success. Yeah.
I am, and I'm so excited to be with Organized, which is another wonderful group of people to be able to. And so I always would say that Verl Workman and the whole team are always there to help people, and it's so fresh when you're dealing with everybody that wants to help each other. And that's what this is all about. And I think that's part of what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, we are indeed. We are indeed. Well, welcome, G. And
Thank you.
last but certainly not least, is the wonderful Brook Sines, who is a real estate entrepreneur in 2 states and very dear friend, has a wonderful family. Brook, please introduce yourself to this wonderful group of people here and tell us about you.
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me. And Julie, I love that you're our moderator and I get to be on with G. And Charlotte, thanks for sponsoring. And of course, the whole RISMedia family and the Workman Success family, like you alluded to earlier. I don't know if I would recommend doing 2 different teams 800 miles apart from one another, but that is what life has chosen for me. So it's lots of fun. I'm very blessed to work with agents in both teams in the Grand Rapids, Michigan and Charlotte, North Carolina area, and then also to get to know everyone in between. So I am a senior coach with Workman Success Systems as well, and have been a coaching client for I think 6 years, maybe 5 years now, because I'm actually at my 6-year anniversary with RE/MAX of Grand Rapids and RE/MAX Executive.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember one of our first coach trainings together. Guys, you have to love this, because what they did is they gave Brook a set of Legos, and then they gave me the instructions. And then we had to sit back to back, and I had to describe to Brook what to put together with a little bitty piece, multicolored Lego set. And that was one of the best exercises that you can do as far as listening and hearing each other and giving instructions. And Brook was like ace at it, and she did it despite or in spite of my horrible directions. So welcome, Brooke, and welcome, G, and welcome, Charlotte, and welcome everybody. And I hope you're here to get some good information. Rather than going through a lot of slides today, what we're going to do is we're just going to have some discussion here, because what we've all here have had success in real estate, and we know what it takes to be a good brokerage, and here we are helping guide you. So, G, let's start with you. When you, all those many years ago, what were you looking for in a brokerage? And tell me today what you've learned that's different. What makes a good place to work?
I think what makes a good place to work is it's a happy place. It's a gathering of people that are partners and want to help each and every one of them. And I think that one of the most important, significant things that I have learned over the years is that the broker is going to be more successful, and if they're successful, so are we, when the broker is more inclined to take the agents as his or her client. And by making them better equipped to do what they need to do, whether it's getting listings, whether it's negotiating, helping the sellers and or the buyers, I think, and then last but not least, at the same time, helping promote the communities in which we serve.
Absolutely. Brooke, what could you add to that?
Well, I would say initially when I first came into the industry, I think like many new agents, we felt like we were, or I felt like I was interviewing for the job. And what's funny is that once you get in, I mean, you're actually interviewing your broker for working with them and wanting to be a part of their team and their family. So that's something that I quite frequently tell agents and new licensees, as I say, you know, just remember that it's a dual interview process. And I do think G, I mean, absolutely hit the nail on the head, is that you want to work in a happy place. You want people that, I mean, although we're property experts, we also we give back. We live in our local communities, and you want to be a part of a culture that's built that way. And I remember, I mean, my first having like-minded, successful agents working in the office around me all the time. I mean, the first house I went to write an offer on, I had the clients, they had the house that they wanted to pick, and I went to another agent in another office and I said, now how do I write an offer? And so he sat there and just walked me through step by step how to write an offer. And, you know, I think things like that just speak volumes. That's great culture.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's almost, you know, when you're a new agent and you've got your MLS book and you've got your phone and you've got your inventory in your hand, and then it's kind of like a dog chasing a car. What are you going to do with it when you catch it, right? So you really have to have that information. And G, one of the things that you were saying is that, you know, a helpful broker, a happy place, and someone who can do something. You've got to have a smart broker, don't you?
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
really, and someone who's experienced into the stickiness of real estate, as well as the successes, as well as the failures. Not that we have any failures in real estate, we just have opportunities for growth, wouldn't you say?
Without a doubt. I think it's important that what creates a great background for getting the right person is to really talk to the agents that are there. I think we need to interview them, because I think that's going to help us with a great deal to figure out what type of purpose are they, what's most important for them. I'm one of these people that are always curious about what the core values are of the organization. I think that's another way of just being able to get a better feel for what this is all about. And I think by doing that and being open and interested and excited to learn more before you commit, or once you then want to join, then show them what you're going to bring to the party also. Because it's just like what Brooke says, they're looking at us just like we're looking at them, and there's nothing better than finding that right nest. So that every day you're excited to come to work, and every day you're learning from each other.
It's kind of like getting married, isn't it?
It sure is.
All right,
It sure
because
is.
it's like, oh hi, we're dating. I think you're kind of cute. Let's get married. There's a lot that comes out of the closet. So tell us a little bit more, G, about core values, and what core values are you looking for in a broker, and what should everybody here be looking for as far as core values? And now, did you bring yours to share?
Yes, and I think we have it somewhere there. Our team is referred to as real estate navigators, and so this one that I'm sharing is what our team believes, and there are 6 items that are on it. But I think that first and foremost, it's how a level of integrity. That's what starts. And I think that's the most important to begin with.
G, what does integrity mean to you?
Are you asking me that, or Brooke?
Absolutely, I'm asking you that because, and I'm going to ask Brooke too. I just asked you first. So I'll put you on the spot.
Okay. I mean,
But just, because it's so fun, because when you go around the room and you start talking about the different core values you have, people have different angles on it.
that's for sure.
And there's the book version of integrity, and then there's the practice version of integrity. And, it's almost like if you say, what kind of sandwich would you like for lunch? Turkey? Or what kind of sandwich you want for lunch? Turkey. There are 2 different meanings to many, many words. So
that's correct.
Sorry if I'm a little goofy, y'all. That's my middle name, Looney Tune, right? But G, tell me what you think integrity. Well, I know you know what integrity means. What does integrity mean to you?
What it means to me is that they are naturally interested in others and have some things that are important to them to be able to not have to worry when no one is looking that we're doing the right thing. And I think, and then the other part of it to me is that we know that we are subject to all different types of people, and to have a level of curiosity, because everyone can teach us something, regardless of where they came from or how old they are or how much experience they have. And then I think the other part has to do with your ability to try to do everything that you can to assist your partners, your friends in the business, and having curiosity of what's going on in their lives so that we get to know them better. And I think that, and then that inherits even more trust in each other. I've been an athletic person for a long, long time, and I think that it's all about a team, as Brooke talks about, and I know she has a whole lot to share with what goes into that.
All right. Well, he just passed the buck to you, Brooke. What does integrity mean to you?
Well, I don't usually go as in depth as G did. So, I mean, that's amazing to hear such a large range there. I mean, I usually am very, integrity is a part of our core values, which you'll see in a minute when we review those. But it's very much, if you tell me you're going to write your business plan, or you tell me you're going to show up at this day and time. I mean, show up. It's honesty. It's, putting your word and it meaning something is really what I talk to my team about a lot and teach them.
Absolutely. Doing right for right's sake. I'd say it's right, and doing what you say you're going to do. There's how many times do you see people that show up, oh yeah, I was going to prospect today, I was going to do that, and then they're like, oh yeah, well I got busy and I was doing and the next day goes by and not doing what they need to do. And sometimes you can say, do we have an integrity problem? Are you lying to yourself? Right? I'm just teasing. But I'm not. I remember Verl Workman told me that one time. He says, do you have an integrity problem? And I went, absolutely not. I have no integrity problem whatsoever. And he says, then why haven't you done the things you said you were going to do? And I'm like going, oh, how big is that hole I can crawl in? Okay. So I think what we all look at those things, and integrity to yourself, integrity, showing up, being behind you, doing right for right's sake, serve regardless of opportunity, has a lot to do with integrity. So, gee, that's awesome. One of the core values. You said you had about 6 of them. Tell us more.
Well, another one which fits in it as a part of it is delivering promised results, and that's kind of what we're all talking about. But always to be accountable to our clients. I think it's another one that I think there's a whole lot of times that I've watched many agents step on their air hose at one time or another. And I think putting them first and sometimes that's hard. It really is. When you've got a buyer that they've tried to buy something through you 3 times and they lost each time. I mean, now there's a real test, that they're concerned about, are you really doing the job that I expect? But I mean, it's a responsibility. And so let's making sure that we're doing the right thing for everybody.
Especially, and how's that? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I stepped right on you. Delaying.
And I think the other things are that you have to be able to share insight, not only to the real estate market itself, but the communities that you serve. It's easy to find out some of the information online, I think, for what's for sale and what does someone say about the property, but helping them understand the different types of locations that we serve, I think is also really important. And so that's also one of our core values.
And how does that tie into the brokerage that you work with, that you chose to work with?
I think it fits very, very well. In the 40+ years that I've been doing this, I've never been involved with an organization that is so much exactly what we're talking about. That it's hard to even get on board with them because they have a lot of things that they want to make sure that we're not going to get a rough apple in the bottom of the barrel. And so it's almost having people look at you maybe a little bit deeper than sometimes you want to. But I think it's such a positive way to deal with people that are honest and are focused and want to help each other, that goes a long way.
So you say something to me that, or to all of us, that's very intriguing, because there are brokers that will just hire anybody who fogs up a mirror. And then there's brokers that will really interview and make sure that you as an individual are a fit with their company. All right. So it's kind of, like Brooke said, it's a dual or a dual interview process. Brooke, how do you go about finding somebody? You've been successful in that. How do you go about finding a broker? because they're all out there and they're all courting you and they're all, you know, doing that. They'd all love to have you on their team. I know they'd love to have both of you. All right. So how do you weed through all the offers of come work with me, or do you, or even find a good broker? How do you do that?
I think it's someone that you know, like, and trust, or can get to know, like, and trust, and that know, like, and trust you. Like you said, it's kind of dating at the beginning, but I want to know that if you tell me we do training or we do office award events, we do this and that, those are things that I'm counting on. And if you want to change any of that, then having a panel or a group that maybe you connect with within the brokerage that makes decisions, and we're all very transparent on that. I mean, I know Cleve Gaddis, another fellow coach of ours who's amazing, master coach, but he will talk about having a team or a brokerage of co-creation. So it's not that dictatorship mentality, but it's where everyone gets a say. And yes, at the end of the day, for me, you know, I'm a team leader. And so ultimately I do have the say for my team. The broker owners obviously have a say at the end of the day on how their brokerage is run. But why not have, I mean, the team mentality is so that we all can Annie in on what is the best way and from our different viewpoints. And I think that's important.
I want to touch on something you just said, because it reminds me of that wonderful book by Patrick Lencioni, The Five Dysfunctions of a Team. And talking about being able to trust people and share ideas, because a lot of times in a brokerage, I mean, I'll go in there and everybody's got their own doors locked, their file cabinets locked, they take their computer home with them. You know, no, I can't tell you my negotiating skills, because if I tell you my negotiating skills, I might have to be competing against you one day. So
Exactly.
tell me, G, since you just said exactly, I'm zeroing right in on you. How do you go about, you've been in the business a long time and you've seen a lot of brokerages and you've done a lot of transactions with a number of real estate agents. What attracts you to pick up and notice, hey, you know what, that might be a real good broker for me to maybe change, or even invite somebody to come on your team?
Well, it's an interesting point that you just you touched on, because I was with a brokerage for almost 15 years, and they were sold out to another group, which was, it was a wonderful experience until the last 2 years, and there was a whole different change when it was no longer a family. And I like to absorb and of things and sit on the sideline and watch and listen to what people say. And I do the same thing with leadership. And to be able to know that I've got a leader or two or three in the management area, let's say, how much time do they spend walking around talking to their agents? How much time do they let them know periodically that if they're going to be out of town, what do they expect while they're out of town, and what are the pups going to be doing, and who's going to protect them? Just like you would with a bear taking care of her kids, and it's the same type of thing. Because I have found that when everybody is looking into each other, and family makes so many, is so big and so important in this tough business. I mean, the number of times that I was late for dinner, or the number of times that I was not able to get to the game that one of my kids was in, or those types of things. And then to be able to know that I can leave and maybe not have to be there, and know that someone else will step up for me to support my client with something that has to be important at the farm level, or family level rather. So it's observations, I think, and it's behavior. And what type of language do people use? I mean, that's another whole area that there's people that just today say they can say whatever it is. Well, I'm old school, I guess. And so all
But
these
gee,
little
oh, sorry,
right?
go ahead.
I just said so.
I don't know that I told that. No, I'm just kidding.
So I'm an observer, I guess, first and most important.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Brooke, I kept seeing you smile during what G was saying, so add to that. I know you can identify.
I'm like, and this and that, but no, the way, gee, what you just said, I mean, it's who you are when you think no one is looking, and that's who you truly are at your core. And I'll tell you, as you also said, it's treating your current agents that you have just as well or better than the agents that you are courting, because I'll tell you, nothing will, upset an agent faster than hearing that another agent from another brokerage is getting a written congrats on your recent pending sale card or something like that, and the broker is not sending those out to his or her their own agents. And those types of things are just, I mean, not all of us need that type of recognition, but it doesn't matter. It's the thought that counts. It's the serve regardless of the opportunity.
And you want to be sure that your broker still cares about you, right? It's like, okay, great, you're in our firm now. Next, let me go find another one. Next, let me go find another one. Next, let me go find another one. So let me ask you a question. Brooke, I'm going to start with you. A lot of people are just all about splits. All right. Oh yeah. I can get 100% over here and get 90%, I get 50%, I get all kinds of different percentages. Is finding a good broker about percentages, or what do you look at as as a amazing agent, or even an agent who wants to be an amazing agent? What do you go look for? Is splits what you look for, or what do you look for along with the splits?
Yeah, to me, it's that overall value. I mean, I really don't take into account, I mean, obviously you have to, as a business person, you have to take into account or know the splits. But at the end of the day, for me, it's about the brand awareness, what value is coming from that. Are we getting training? Are we having systems? What sort of availability do we have to the broker in charge, or, behind the scenes assistance if we need it? Because also, as G was alluding to earlier, if you have an issue and I may go months and not have to reach out to my broker for, I mean, hopefully for questions or an issue that arises. But when I do, you need that person right next to you and willing to be in your corner. And that's a huge value as well. I will say too, the other thing when you're talking about who you look for to bring into your brokerage or how you do that, I know that the brokerages that I'm with right now in the two different states, they are very much aware of what I'm doing in my daily business. They don't step on my toes with my other agents. So they know me. They know what I'm trying to do with my business, what my goals are. And they also know that in most cases, I'm always recruiting. And so they're keeping their eye out for me. If there's someone that comes into the business, into the brokerage, that would be a good team fit or is looking for a team or recommendations, I mean, I'm blessed to say that my name is put out there if they feel not everyone is going to be a good fit. And I've turned down some people, or, we've had discussions that it just wasn't a fit. But to even have my name thrown in the ring and to have that person not just looking out for their best interest, but looking out for us as a team. And again, that goes back to the culture and integrity and everything else, the serving regardless of opportunity.
can you add to that? Thank you, Brooke. That was really great. G, what can you add to that?
Well, that's hard to, it's hard to add very much to that. But I do think, I think it's everybody on the team that should be looking for another person that's going to be a fit. And I think I think that in and of itself is different, at least than some other ways people go after it. You said it before, Julie. You know, you have some brokerages that it's all about getting people in, and you know, if they do 4 or 5 or 6 transactions in a year, that's great, and you're at you're at it, and don't bother me, or they're hard to reach. And I think leadership is another area where, as Brooke just said, if someone has something that's important, or we have something that's important that we need to be able to talk to who's up at the top of the chain here, are they going to be able to take the time to do it? And I think that's just another indication. Do we have to go through too many doors to get to the top? When it's appropriate. And I think it's really important as well.
Those are some absolutely great points. And then there's other points that maybe I want to bring up too, is that what kind of value does that broker give you? Are they giving you CRMs to use? Are they giving you secretarial support, client care coordination? What is your real job? Are you going to be your own assistant? Are you going to be running around? Are they going to give you signs? Are they going to give you advertising? Because it all adds up, doesn't it, when you're looking for a brokerage? Okay, because there are some that just say, here's your key, there's your MLS book. Well, I'm dating myself. There's your MLS information, and go for it. I know you got a license. Now you can handle the largest investment anybody is ever gonna have. And you're going, okay, now what do I do? So the training programs, again, and what value do they bring for the split that they offer? Right, because there could be, as you well know, just in branding and all kinds of different things, and in reputation of that broker, people just come to the brokerage. And when the broker hires people that have great core values, like y'all and like a lot of the people on this call, then they know they're going to have service that is exceptional. Wouldn't you agree?
We all are nodding our heads. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that just looking in right now today, I think where it's so competitive, especially with large companies or large organizations, and and without technology, you're behind the whole group. I mean, and so there's a lot of tools that are out there. But where there's a huge difference in what I've seen over the years is the company may have all kinds of tools, but do the managers know how to use them? Or are they teaching them how to use the tools? And that's just one example of separating, to be able to give the agents a better way to serve their clients. And just like you said, there's a lot of expenditure that goes into this. The overhead is enormous, and the percentage of profit sometimes doesn't even exist. And so I think you got to look at all of those areas. But I think it's really important, just like Brooke talked about how much training is taking place. Is there a mentor program that they might have, especially when you're getting some of the agents to help each other? And is there certain things of that nature as well? So there's not a perfect one for everybody, but having a voice, which Brooke talked about earlier, having a voice and having the management want to listen to what everybody has to say is significant. And I see that. I mean, that's like when we with lacrosse has been big in my world. And to be able to have the kids talk about what they know and what they think and what they want and all of that has had a whole lot to do with how well they do on the field. But I was with another company where the management told everybody, this is how we do it and take it or leave it, you know, and that didn't work for me for very long. I had to leave.
You know, that brings up another point. What about accountability? You know, there's different brokerages that have different accountability. Some would just go for it, just bring me your check when you're ready. And then others will breathe down your throat all day wondering what you're doing, and then there's something in between. I tend to think that accountability is really awareness of what you're doing. And so what should you look at as far as a broker for guidance and even the systems they have? Because gee, you're absolutely right. You can have a big old toolbox, but if you don't use the systems and you don't know how to use the tools, what are you going to do? So what's your comment on that?
Well, my comment would be that first and foremost, I think that there's a problem with a lot of companies that they have these tools and then they say, this is how we do it. You got to do it this way. You have to do it our way. When in fact, I think every agent, we know that every agent has a different thumbprint than the next person. And so we're all unique. So to try to put everybody pushed into the same bottle doesn't work for very long. And so unless the managers or the leaders in the house take the time to learn enough about their agent, just like we do with our players, you're never going to have them reach their ability to get to the top. And it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they have to be at the tippy top. It might be to just do the number of transactions that they like doing, and maybe learning that they can do it in half the time so that they can go 6 months on vacation. I mean, it's everybody's different. But if management is not sensitive to that, I don't think that you get the best players on the field.
Brooke, well, I'm going to go to you next. Where's the difference between sensitivity and accountability? And where do you draw the line, or what makes you feel comfortable or uncomfortable, loved or as a possession?
Well, I'm not very sensitive, so that's what my husband tells me. No, I'm just kidding. This webinar just went in a different direction. No, what I've been using this year, and I heard it on another webinar, or I read it in a book somewhere, because I parrot the smart ones around me that are successful, and they stopped using accountability and used the word encouragement, because people don't always like to be held accountable, but they like to be encouraged. And I'll certainly be that cheerleader on the sidelines. I'll be that coach rooting them on, and bringing them along. And I think that's when you talk about that from a brokerage perspective, I appreciate that the brokers that I'm with, when you talk about encouragement, not only like I brought up about cards and, hey, you made it to this award level, or your team's doing great, or even just, we appreciate you, but also having monthly meetings, whether it's in person or via Zoom right now. I mean, those sorts of things are encouraging in their own ways. It's keeping people involved. It's allowing time for that additional training and encouragement, and saying, hey, we're here for you, and in whatever way we can help. So I think that speaks volumes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you touched on meetings. Okay, that's another thing that you should probably look at the brokerage. What is required of you? Okay, do you just hang your license and don't do anything? Or are you required to get on something every day? Are you required to have a training session every week? And those training sessions, are they good and a good use of your time? Or are those training sessions listen to a trainer pontificate on how wonderful they are? What, have you ever come across anybody like that, G?
Oh, yes, we all have, I'm sure.
When everybody starts looking at their eyebrows.
The only thing I could say about that is that's when I keep saying to myself, because I won't want to say the wrong thing, but I just keep saying to myself, stop talking. Stop talking, you know.
Yeah.
They just go
do
in.
they give you input? Do people give you input and allow you to give your input? That's really important. So, kind of to summarize, I think what we have to do is we have to look at what you really want to look for in a brokerage. You, of course, as Brooke said, you want to look at the spreads, and you want to make sure you're getting your value. You want to be sure that you have a broker who shares your core values and cares as much about your success as their own success, if not more. Right? You want to make sure that they're not going to go broke tomorrow because they call us broker for a reason, because we're usually broker than everybody else, right? All right. And that you've got a good reputation in the community. And if you go for an interview, how many times, guys, do you think you ought to interview your broker or have your broker interview you? If you go in and they go, oh, hey, you look cute, let me interview you, what does that tell you? I mean, let me hire you. What does that tell you versus come meet with our team? Let's see how you work. Let's take you out to dinner and see what you're really like.
Right.
Let's go on a field trip. Let's see what it works. So tell me more about that, guys.
Brooke,
go for it.
You're up.
Yeah, I'll say, my first broker that I joined, well, I haven't left them. So I'm still with my initial brokerage that I went to when I first had my license or first got it. But she sat me down and she said, okay, how many people are in your sphere of influence? And I'm like, my sphere, like, how do you even say that? Is that SPH? And it was, it's not like we in real estate think of that all the time and we use that verbiage, but as someone just coming into real estate and, are you from here? Who do you know? And she really was coming at it from a place of love, just, it's going to be difficult maybe, or more difficult if you don't have that sphere or that database. And then she was I could tell she was taking me down two paths. It was either, okay, you need to dig deep and love on these people that you know, or you need to get to know a lot of people real fast. And so starting off on that and just seeing that, hey, she really cared about not the big picture, not saying the same thing to every person that was coming in, but she cared about me, what place I was in. And then she was advising me, which, of, okay, maybe you should be an individual or you should go on a team because it's different for everybody. Some people want to be that solo, kind of on an island by themselves. And some people join teams just to not be on an island by themselves and to be surrounded by people and have the team meetings and camaraderie. So I don't know, hopefully that answers your question a little bit, Julie.
Yeah, no, it's all great insight, isn't it, Brooke? I mean, we've been doing this for a while, and we are so fortunate to be able to coach people that have been doing this, and we see so many struggles. And I think choosing the right brokerage, or G, in your case, when everything changed in your brokerage, and trying to find another one and trying to find that brokerage, it's huge. It's huge, and the core values are huge. But at the end of the day, don't you need to, before you even start looking for a broker, what things would you write down that you are looking for? I know we talked about training. I know we talked about respect. I know we talked about caring. So I would suggest everybody here write down a list of what you're looking for, because after all, you go to work every day, and heaven knows in the real estate business, it's one of those free businesses that you can choose the hour. You can choose whatever 15 hours every day that you want to work, right? So because we work all the time, but you are going to be with these people for almost a lifetime, unless it doesn't work. So write down what you think is important to you. What would you say? How would you summarize this, G? We're getting sort of towards the end. We have a couple of giveaways that I want to talk about.
Actually, Julie, I think that's just such good point, and I think it needs to be well thought out, and I think it might be in two levels. What do I expect, and then how will it be delivered? Because that could be two different paths. And you can have all the stuff like we talked about earlier, but then the way they treat you with it might be totally different, or vice versa. And I think we all are looking at it from a different vantage point, and that's good. But then it goes back to what I can't remember whether you said it or Brook said it, about the ability to want and hear what people have to say. Because the only way that we all can get better is to take advantage, because everybody has something that we can all benefit from.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. How about you, Brooke? How would you sum it up?
I think, yeah, I mean, going in with a list is a wonderful idea, and asking, if I have questions, who do I go to, or who's going to be my person? And then, asking about meetings and that sort of thing. I mean, like I said, I'm telling you, the person at my brokerage, and it's not my brokers that are sending out. I know this. They're not handwriting cards to me saying congrats on this recent closing or congrats on hitting this award level. They certainly know that they are being sent, but they made the cognizant decision to hire someone to help make them look good. And that's what that person's role is to be she's the agent success manager. I mean, what a cool title. And so, I mean, I encourage everyone to ask your brokerage, who's your agent success manager? I mean, maybe it's the broker owner, maybe there is someone with that cool title, but I mean, having someone that is looking out for you and watching what you're doing or what you're not doing to maybe encourage you some more, I think is good.
That's huge. That is absolutely huge. You've got to have an empowered champion that's going to help you see the forest for the trees, don't you?
That's
well said. Absolutely. Well said. Well, Charlotte, what do you think about all this? I mean, you're on the outside looking at all of us. If you were going to go after you've listened to us carry on for a little while here, what would you do if you were looking for a broker?
Yeah, I've never worked with a broker before, but I will say, when looking at a job in general at all, for me, my first couple of jobs as a young professional, I looked for a mentorship. So when I made my list of what I was looking for at any company, some things did outweigh others. In some instances, I would take a position where I felt like my career was going to be better developed. I was going to learn more. I was going to have somebody that I could look up to that I really respected. And that could have meant a pay cut, in some instances. So taking that list and also weighing them out. you know, there are going to be things that are more important to you at that time, and you might have to sacrifice some of those negatives for it. So I would say emphasizing to whatever your list is, you're probably not going to get 10 on those lists, but what's the most important thing, and are you able to sacrifice a few of the other ones for that when making that decision?
Well, thank you. Thank you for contributing.
Yeah.
If you ever want to be in the real estate business, we know some people you can talk to.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
good.
yeah, on G Sport too, I've been an athlete my whole life. I played college lacrosse, so I'm on the lacrosse world.
Right.
Teamwork is everything. I really believe that you got to have a team surrounding you, that family, in order to be successful for yourself and for them. So that's a very important aspect of it.
Somebody that's always got your back, yeah. For sure. Now, thank you everybody today. Now we do have some giveaways. I guess, can we move some slides up here? And there we go. There we go. So we have some core values of our different core values here. If anybody would like some of copies of our core values, we will absolutely help you put yours together through some copies that we have here. And Kirbyo, you've got something a little bit more. You want to tell us about that, Charlotte?
Yeah, first is our marketing toolkit. It is packed with customizable material to get the word out about, you know, using Kirbyo, leveraging your service to win more listings as an agent. That is on our website, and it's completely complimentary. That toolkit, it's a great resource. And we also have a special promotion this month only. It's a referral bonus. Who doesn't like some extra money? We have a $1,000 referral bonus. So if you refer an agent using your link and they end up doing a Kirbyo project, it's $1,000 in cash for you. So that information too, I believe we'll share out, but that referral bonus just goes till the end of the month.
All right, fantastic. And y'all go on www.workmansuccess.com/brokerage to register for these things. And just really appreciate everybody's time today. We've got about 2 minutes left. Did anybody have any questions? I'm kind of a dinosaur at technology, so I didn't see any come through. I'm gonna ask the guys at RISMedia if they saw any, but I hope this has been informative to you today. G. Dunstan from Ocean City, Maryland, thank you. Brook Signs from Michigan and North Carolina, thank you. Charlotte from Kirbyo, thank you. And me, I'm Julie Timms down in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And from all of us at RISMedia and Workman Success, thank you for your time. And we love success stories. So please let us know how we've helped you today, if we've helped you today, what we could do better another time. And y'all just go do it. This is an amazing market and you're amazing people. Go out there and show people just how exceptional you are. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Julie.
y'all.
Good job. Good job. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.